Splatfest was so much fun, but now that it's over, we can expect a balance update sometime soon. Now, the question is, what weapons will receive a buff or a nerf? As much as I love to talk about the weapon balance, I am only going to talk about the weapons I would like to see buffed. I am aware that some weapons like the Paintbrush, Dynamo Roller, Snipe Rider, Glue Guns, and Squelchers need some attention. However, I am not experienced with these weapons, and I can't give a full grasp on what they need. Anyways, here are the weapons I would like to see balanced. Alright, starting off with the Splattershot Pro, this weapon has a decent rate of fire with an above average range. The Pro does 42 damage per bullet, giving it a DPS of 336. The Pro has a minimum time to kill of 19 frames, a maximum time to kill of 46 frames, giving it an average time to kill of 32.5 frames. The Pro has good range and good damage, but what the main weapon lacks is mobility, painting, and ink efficiency, so I would like to see these 3 buffs added for the Splattershot Pro. The first buff is to increase the painting output of the Splattershot Pro, allowing it to paint more efficiently and keep its distance from enemies that are engaging. The second buff is to give it a bigger ink tank. This will allow the Splattershot Pro to stay in combat a little longer, and contest most areas without much interruption. And the third buff is to give it more damage, changing the value from 42 to 49, potentially making the Splattershot Pro a 2-shot kill. Now, I don't think the third buff will happen, however, I do believe that the first 2 buffs will happen. Alright, next up is the Splattershot Nova. The Splattershot Nova has an above average range with a good fire rate and great mobility. The Nova does 24 damage per bullet, giving it a DPS of 240. The Splattershot Nova has a minimum time to kill of 27 frames, a maximum time to kill of 113 frames, giving it an average time to kill of 70 frames. In other words, Nova has great mobility with a good range and a good fire rate, but with a poor DPS, bad accuracy, and an unreliable time to kill, it really ruins the potential of the Splattershot Nova, making it extremely weak and inconsistent in combat. So, I would like these 3 buffs added for the Splattershot Nova. The first buff is to increase the accuracy of the Splattershot Nova. The point of this buff is to decrease the maximum time to kill, allowing the Splattershot Nova to fight from longer ranges more reliably. The second buff is to increase the ink tank of the Splattershot Nova. This will allow the Nova to paint a little longer and stay in combat more frequently. And the third buff is to give it more Object Shredder. Nova lacks damage, so a buff like this will allow it to break objects faster and more reliably. I hope the Nova will receive these 3 buffs later in the future. And if I'm being honest, I would like more quality of life buffs for the Splattershot Nova, but I guess I can talk about that in another video. Last, and certainly not least, is the Aerospray. The Aerospray has the fastest rate of fire in the game. Even though it only does 24 damage per bullet, it has a DPS of 360. The Aerospray has a minimum time to kill of 19 frames, has a maximum time to kill of 81 frames, which only gives it an average time to kill of 50 frames. I know the Aerospray has an amazing rate of fire and good painting output, but in exchange for lower range, poor accuracy, and a slow time to kill, it makes the weapon struggle fighting other shooters. So the question is, what buff could help the Aerospray keep its amazing rate of fire and good painting output without taking the purpose of the Aerospray's role? One buff that would absolutely help the Aerospray would be to give it a better rate of fire. For starters, it would lower the minimum and maximum time to kill, giving it more fighting potential. It would also change the Aerospray's good painting output to a greater painting output. And it would make the accuracy of the Aerospray more forgiving. Not to mention, it would impact the special output of the Aerospray as well. Well, these are all the weapons I would like to see buffed. Let me know which weapons, subs, or even specials you would like to see buffed. Anyways, I would just like to say thank you for watching, and I really do appreciate it. Well, that'll be all for me. See you next time.